The Heartland Flyer, a daily Amtrak train that goes between Fort Worth, Texas, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, is being proposed for elimination. And yet, I'm proposing to expand service on the Flyer. But why? I'll explain why in this video. So we need to address the elephant in the room, which is the potential elimination of this service. The Texas state legislature stripped funding for this service, and politicians in Oklahoma, understandably, are not going to carry Texas's part of the cost. Because of that, we are on track for the last Heartland Flyer train to happen no later than October 1st, 2025. So, needless to say, if you live in Texas, contact your legislators and urge them to address this. After all, if we don't even have a Heartland Flyer in the first place, it's difficult to talk about expanding the service. So now that we have gotten this out of the way, let's talk about my Heartland Flyer expansion idea. And it's a northward expansion, most of it on rail tracks that already exist. The first stop of the expansion would be in Edmond. Edmond has a population of over 94,000 people as of the 2020 census. It is also home to the University of Central Oklahoma, which has close to 11,000 students. As such, I see this station getting heavily used by students. The following stop would be in Guthrie, which has about 10,700 residents. Fun fact, Guthrie was the first state capital of Oklahoma, before Oklahoma City became the capital. I'd have a stop in Ponca City, which has just over 24,000 residents. The city is named after the Ponca tribe, by the way. Ponca City would be the last station stop in Oklahoma for my Heartland Flyer extension. The train would then cross north into Kansas, and the first Kansas stop would be in Arkansas City. It has a population of close to 12,000 people. Not far north of Arkansas City is Winfield. It has a population pretty similar to Arkansas City, and would also have a stop. Apparently, as many as 5 railroads passed through Winfield at one point. So bringing passenger rail service here seems not just useful, but a good way to honor the city's railroad heritage. The train track and train line then curves northwest towards Wichita. But there are a couple of stops that need to be made before we get to Wichita. One of them is in Mulvane, which has about 6,200 people. And the other one is in Derby, which has over 25,000 people. It is Wichita's largest suburb. Speaking of Wichita, that is the next stop. Without a doubt, Wichita is the crown jewel of the northward extension. It is the 9th largest American metro area without any passenger rail service. So getting Amtrak to Wichita would therefore be a big deal. Wichita itself has around 400,000 people, and the Wichita metro area has around 650,000 people. North of Wichita, there'd be a stop at Valley Center, which has over 7,300 people. The following stop would be in Newton, which has about 18,600 people. If you were to just look at the population size, it sounds like a pretty run-of-the-mill stop. However, Amtrak Southwest Chief stops there, so this would be a critical transfer point for anyone who wants to head east towards Kansas City and Chicago, or southwest towards Albuquerque and Los Angeles. Many northward extensions of the Heartland Flyer, including the one proposed by Amtrak itself, have it ending in Newton. However, I'm going to extend it further north. Soon enough, it'll become apparent why I'm proposing this. The next stop would be in McPherson, which has a population around 14,000 people. North of McPherson, the rail tracks just kind of end. This is a problem, and here's my solution. I would build train tracks along old US 81/14th Avenue. It then turns into Business US 81 around Lindsborg, and then turns into Old Highway 81. At one of these streets on the outskirts of Salina, it would curve onto existing railroad tracks so that it can make the rest of its journey towards the last station stop, which is in Salina. Now, I might be asking, why extend this to Salina? It doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but in the future, I'm hoping for a rail line going east west between Kansas City and Denver, with Salina being one of the stops. I've already proposed such a line on my channel. Extending the Heartland Flyer north to Salina would connect a major north south route with a major east west route, thus facilitating trips for people heading to places like Denver. However, there are 3 reasons a Heartland Flyer to Salina isn't likely to happen anytime soon. The first reason is that it would require building 30 miles of railroad trackage, which is definitely doable, but could be tricky, especially if you end up messing around with any properties. The second reason is that there aren't any serious proposals, not even from a pro rail Biden administration, to connect Kansas City and Denver directly. So much of the point of extending the Heartland Flyer north to Salina is to improve connectivity for people who want to head to Denver and the Mountain West. Without a Kansas City to Denver line, you lose a lot of the purpose of extending this line to Salina. And the third reason is that it's hard to talk about a Heartland Flyer extension northward to Salina when the Heartland Flyer might be extinct in a few months. That said, if the service survives, I think an extension to Newton, as Amtrak themselves have already proposed, makes a lot of sense. It would improve Amtrak service in a sprawling Oklahoma City area, get Amtrak to one of the largest metro areas without any passenger rail currently, and offer a connection to another Amtrak service. So, from a usefulness standpoint, an extension of the Heartland Flyer to Newton makes a lot of sense. But because there may be no Heartland Flyer at all in a few months, the chances of extending it to Newton, let alone to Salina, seem remote. I give the chances of this extension happening at about a 1 out of 10. I hate to be such a Debbie Downer, but it's hard to be anything other than a Debbie Downer given the current situation with this line. But even if this line is saved, a lot needs to go right for this to be extended to Newton, let alone to Salina. If it were just the extension of Newton I'm grading, I'd probably give it a slightly higher score, a 3 out of 10. The first thing that needs to go right, though, is to keep this line. So once again, if you're in Texas, please urge your representatives to provide funding for this line. And on that note, I ask people to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content on imagining better rail transit in the United States. Also, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any thoughts on my proposed Heartland Flyer extension. Thank you, and have a good day.